Thank you for having us at your headquarters.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the world of Kendra Scott.
It is fabulously femme.
You know what? We are over 95% female, okay, in our company. And this is a dream utopia for a female workforce. The guys like it too, though, let me be clear, but the ladies here really love it.
Yeah, there are a few perks here, as I've seen.
Yes.
A smoothie bar,
Yes.
a gym, a nail salon.
A nail salon, I know. Well, you know, and as well as I do, I'm a mom, I have 6 children. I am running every day to just try to keep my everything organized. Who has time to get their nails done? So I was like, what a great perk to be able to have our team just walk down the hall. They can get a pedicure even with one of their buddies that they work with. They can have a meeting while they're getting their nails done and not have to get in their car, park, all the things. So it's one of our most valued perks, I think, in this building, for sure.
Do you ever sit back and are amazed at what you've been able to accomplish and to be able to have a headquarters that has such amenities?
I'm always in awe. I think, I started with really nothing, out of an extra bedroom. I was a single mom in the early days of running this business. I couldn't have dreamt this big. I couldn't have dreamt that we'd be in a beautiful office and I'd have all these amazing people that I get to work beside, the impact that we've been doing for our communities across the country. No, I mean, I pinch myself every day, yet I wake up every day thinking we have so much more we can do and so much more we want to accomplish.
I know you're selling joy, but you sell some amazing jewelry. What's the hallmark of a Kendra Scott piece?
I looked at it when I started this, and I love colored gemstones. So you can look in our stores and you see just this wide array of beautiful color. And I loved that, but I couldn't find pieces that I could afford. And all the things I saw out there really looked the same. And so I thought if we could have identifiable shape, really use unique and innovative materials with stone, and give these to women in an attainable price point, that could be something that would be really filling a void in the world. And unfortunately, other people felt the same way, love the brand, they love the color, they love the statement, they love our shapes. And I think it's really been one of those things where you can look at it and go, oh, that's a Kendra, I love that you're wearing that. And we've created this community of amazing people who love the brand and wear it because they love not just how beautiful it is, but for what we stand for as a company.
I know in the early days, you made the first jewelry.
Yes.
How involved are you in the design process now?
I was literally, before I came in to sit with you, I was just in the design room with our head of design, Leah, going over some samples that just came in. Every single thing that the customer sees, touches, will wear, smells, experiences, I am totally hands-on with today and always will be, as long as they'll allow me to be, right? But I love it, and it's so important to me. I mean, this is my name on these products, and I want to make sure that our customer is going to have the most amazing piece when she receives this, either as a gift or experiences it in our store.
It's interesting you said whatever they see or smell.
Yes.
The brand has expanded.
We are expanding. We started in fragrance with candles, actually. So, beautiful fragrances for your home inspired by our stones. So mother of pearl was a scent and turquoise was a scent. And as we started to do this, we realized maybe we should start to think about this. What is such a great accessory is your fragrance. It's such a personal part of how you identify yourself, right? And so we just launched fragrance at Holiday last year with a great reception. Our customers absolutely love it, and we'll be continuing to expand our fragrance line. So we're so excited about that.
I feel like those are 2 products that can make a woman feel really special,
Yes.
right? Regardless of what you're wearing.
It's so true. When I was designing, I would always think about this. How is this piece of jewelry going to make her feel? Not just about how she looked, but when she wears it, does this give her confidence? Does this give her the courage she may need to walk in an interview or tackle her day? A lot of times I'll remember, even as a mother, I'd have a stain on my t-shirt, from our kids, but I'd put on a great pair of our earrings in carpool, and I suddenly felt like, okay, I'm a little bit more together. I feel a little bit better about myself. And that is what I always think about when I'm designing. I just want her to feel great when she wears a piece of our jewelry.
Absolutely. You've taken some bold moves as a businesswoman, and that includes giving away your product. for different causes.
Yes.
Some critics early on had told you that was not such a great idea, but you proved your critics wrong with giving.
Yes, I mean, when I started this company, it was very important to me that we were fashioned for philanthropy, that what I could give at that moment in the beginning wasn't a lot. I was a single mom out of an extra bedroom, but I could make a pair of earrings for a silent auction. I could make a necklace for a raffle or a giveaway for a nonprofit. And so I did what I could in the early days, and that grew and grew. So as the company grew, we were able to do more. And like you said, I had so many critics saying, Kendra, you can't give away all this stuff. This is crazy. And I said, this is my why. For me, this is going to be success. If I can have a fiscally responsible company, but make a difference in my community and really help people in my community in a meaningful way, that will be success for me. And so here we are now 22 years later. In just since 2010, we've given over $65 million to women and children's nonprofits. And I can't tell you, when you think about this, when I think about it, I could have never dreamt that. But what an amazing thing. And we are one of the most successful accessory and fashion brands in the United States. So for all those critics out there, you can have a giving heart and you can be successful at the same time.
Doing good is just as important as doing well.
Absolutely. We said that today in our Pillar Awards that we did for our employees. We gave away a philanthropy award, and we talk about that so much here. And it's really our core value at Kendra Scott that we cherish the most.
Core values are very important to you and for the company. Can you share what those are at Kendra Scott? What are the core values at Kendra Scott?
So there are 3 simple words, but underneath those words there's a lot of meaning. It's family, fashion, and philanthropy. When I started this, I was a brand new mom. I brought Cade, my 22-year-old son now, in a baby carrier, store to store in Austin, Texas, selling my products to boutiques. And I was a mom, and I would bring him to, into the office with me, into the design studio. And as I started to hire other designers and other folks to help me, we'd be passing, him around, then my little baby Beck. Then as they started having babies, we would all be this village of amazing women supporting each other and saying, you can have a great career and you can also be a mother. And why can't we have both? Why can't I create an environment that allows us to be there for our families first and treat each other like family? We treated each other like sisters. I mean, we have a sisterhood. And when we got our retail stores and started connecting with customers, we want her to be part of our family. We want her to know that we love her, we care about her, and the things that they care about.
Mm-hmm. On the philanthropy side, on the giving side, just how important of a pillar is that for the business?
It's everything. I mean, when we look at our success at Kendra Scott, many companies are always looking at, obviously, their top line revenue and all of these other metrics. But for us, one of the things that we measure here is our give back dollars. It's how much we're able to give back, the programs that we're able to do. We recently launched our own foundation, which is the Kendra Scott Foundation. And it's so exciting because after all of these years of giving all over, we really were able to kind of hone in on what our customers and us really cared about. And that was women and youth causes in the areas of health, wellness, education, and empowerment. And so that's where we could really focus our time. And it's been so amazing to see so many programs that we're getting involved with absolutely soar.
You have very clear core values and pillars here. What advice would you give to someone? How would they identify what those core values should be?
So for me, it was easy. I was a mom that wanted to have a business that allowed me to be a mother first. And I knew I could do that for other people as well. 2, I loved fashion and design since I was a little girl. So for me, if I got to go in a design room every day and design jewelry for people, that would be unbelievable. That was my passion. And then the 3rd was the soul part, right? The part that matters. It's your purpose in life. And for me, that was giving back. So when you start to think about your own core values, what are the things that are important to you? What matters to you? And those will clearly come shining through in the things that you prioritize in your life, right? And what that's done for us as an organization is now we can hire people that have and share those same core values. Our employees, they care so deeply about family. They care deeply about their community. They have a heart that beats for their community. You look at our customer base, and it is the same thing. They care so much about those same 3 core pillars. And so birds of a feather flock together. And I think that's one of the key reasons why companies and individuals, really should think about their core values and surround themselves with people that share that.
You talked a lot about family, and I call it your personal family, and then there's the work family.
Yes.
I understand at Kendra Scott, there's a sister rule. What's the sister rule?
Well, it's easy. What would you do for your sister? We do this, I remember working for various retailers throughout high school and college, and they'd give these big, huge books on policy and return policies, and you had to ask your manager for approval, and you had to go through all these steps, right? And I just thought that was so crazy. And so, here we are, we're hiring our folks that are in the front line, they're meeting our customers. I want to give them the power to please. And the easiest thing I could share with them are 2 words: sister rule. Treat them like your sister. If your sister had a broken earring, what would you do? You'd fix it. If your sister lost one of her favorite pair of earrings, you'd sell her another one at 50% off. You would do things for your family, and that's how we want to treat our employees, and we also want to treat our customers.
A lot of your business is based on past experiences, and I know in your book you write about being bullied badly. How did being bullied shape you as a person and as a professional?
I look back and I think for all of us, right, we go through these moments sometimes in our life, and in that moment you think, why is this happening to me? I don't deserve to be treated like this. And I remember as this little, middle schooler getting dropped off by my dad, and my father would say, honey, kill them with kindness. No matter how mean they are to you today, you continue to be your kind and loving self. And I remember thinking, okay, kill them with kindness, and I kept trying to do that. And I thought, I'm not gonna let them get me down. I've gotta continue to stay strong, and it gave me incredible resilience. I didn't give up in the face of adversity. I ended up running for student council president in the midst of the worst of the bullying. And I realized that most of the people at the school were like me. They weren't like the ones where I was being bullied by. And they related to me because we were all struggling. We all felt a little bit like misfits, or that we didn't belong. And you know what happened? I won the election. Things changed because I realized I was so worried about what a few people thought that I didn't need to worry about that. If I had a few good friends, a few people that I could align with, people that shared my same heart and kindness, that I would be a happy person. And that is literally who I am today. I have a core group of female friends that we've been friends for over 30 years.
The original 7, the Super 7?
Oh, that's here. Oh, the Super 7. Oh my gosh, my Super 7 are amazing. My first, I'd say, employee was my mother. I don't know if I paid her at first. I think I paid her in hugs and kisses until I had enough money to actually
Couldn't even pay her in jewelry because you're like, oh, I need to sell that.
Exactly. Exactly. But we had a group of women, and so many of them are here still with me today. And it's just amazing that 7 of us started this brand, and we've been able to now grow. We have over 3,000 amazing men and women in this organization, and it's just an amazing thing to be part of.
I think lots of times when we think of successful women, and especially successful women who are leading a company, we think of them as having to be clawing their way to the top, yeah. Right? Not a mean girl, but a woman who comes off a little abrasive. That is so not the case with you, but do you see how that happens, and yes. Is that something that you've tried to be conscious and aware of, or do you think that's why you were able to rise to such success over the years, for being the nice girl?
I have to tell you, I think it was really hard because I would walk into a room many times, especially when I was trying to get investment capital for my business, and no one looked like me. And it's just men in suits, and I'd call my dad, and he'd say, honey, don't back down to the men in suits. And I thought, well, maybe if I look like them and if I act like them more, they'll take me more serious. So I wore a gray suit and I got kind of like, hey guys, and that still didn't work. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna be me. I'm colorful, I'm bright, I'm happy, and I'm proud of the woman that I am. And I would walk in those meetings in dresses and my colorful jewelry and be who I was, and that got much more attention, being my authentic self, not trying to be what I thought somebody wanted me to be. And so as I think about other women, as we go into the world and career, there is only one unique you in the entire world. And you need to take the story of your life, the experiences that you have, and be proud of the person that you are, and be vulnerable. It's power and vulnerability to be yourself. Be yourself, and you will get ahead.
I love how you mentioned that you were met by more men than you were women.
Yes.
As you were moving forward with your business. Is that very much the case for female entrepreneurs like yourself?
You know, you look at a study done in 2015, and you're not going to believe this, but there were more CEOs named John than there were female CEOs in total. That is an astonishing fact to me. Just last year, though, guess what? That finally changed. There are now more women CEOs than CEOs named John. So we're getting somewhere, ladies. But you know, we are making steps in the right direction, and we're seeing that female-founded companies are more successful than male-founded companies. There's proven results out there that show the power, right? And I think we're seeing more private equity, people being very interested in investing in female founders today. So I think the tide winds are changing, and I am right here for it.
What makes women such phenomenal leaders?
You know, I think they can lead with an empathetic heart. One thing I always say is, yes, we are strong, and we always like to be the she boss, and right, and all the girl boss and all those things. But at the heart of it, we have empathy, we have understanding, and let me also tell you, a woman can multitask like no one else I've ever seen. I have so many moms that work at Kendra Scott because a mother, boy, can she get things done in a day, right? And so I think that that's just, you can, when you lead with your heart and you listen and you have that caring and empathetic spirit, you create an amazing environment and an amazing workplace. And that's why you see the low turnover and you see the success that a lot of these female founders have. They're listening and they're getting it from bottom up. They're not pushing top down. They're bottom up leaders. They're really at the heart and core of what their customer wants, what their employee wants, and they listen.
Women are resilient.
Very.
And women often have to hear no. You've heard your share of no's through your journey.
Oh, yes, I have. I've heard every way you could possibly get told no also, like not right now, maybe someday, not today. I love all the creative ways to say no, but I always have a saying that is, no in a mirror is on. And for me, it was game on. Like, at least we're talking. So I would try to learn as much as I could in those meetings. Let's say I presented my collection and they said, no, we're not interested. And I'd say, it's okay. What could I have shown you today that you didn't see that you'd like to see next time? I'm already setting out the next conversation I'm having. I'm gonna follow up with you next season, and I can't wait to show you what I'm gonna design with your input in mind. I took them for opportunities to learn and grow, and I was right back at having another conversation with them. I wasn't gonna give up on that no. It was game on. I say a lot of times, when you get that, somebody says, oh, you can't do that, or what's gonna make you special, I get excited when somebody tells me I can't do something. It lights a fire in me. I was like, oh, and I almost am like, tell me again I can't do it? Because I get this excitement of, oh, I cannot wait to show you that I can do it.
Prove you wrong.
Prove you wrong. And we are optimists here at Kendra Scott. When we see obstacles, we are right away, how are we gonna pivot around that? How are we gonna find a solution to it? We don't let an obstacle stop us, it inspires us.
I think what's really inspiring about your story too is, again, your history and your background. So you are a self-proclaimed college dropout.
Yeah.
But you say your business prior to Kendra
Yes.
Scott was your MBA.
It really was. Yes, it's so true. I ended up leaving college at 19. My stepfather had brain cancer. And I wanted to take a little break to be with him and my mother and support her. He was spending a lot of time at MD Anderson in Houston. And so I was meeting so many men and women that were going through chemotherapy. I loved fashion, as I mentioned, since I was little. And so I brought in some hats where I had sewn in cotton linings so that they'd be comfortable to wear and just kind of bring them a little bit of joy and sunshine to their day. And I saw what an impact it made. And so my first business ended up becoming a hat company. Because I thought, why aren't there more hat stores in the world? And so I dropped out to start this hat business, really thinking that I would go back to school someday. But life just had a different plan for me. And 5 years after running that business, and not successfully, it failed. And I had to close my first business and felt absolutely like the biggest loser on the planet, let me tell you. But it was the greatest education I could have ever got. I learned everything about retail, everything to do right, and a lot of what I did wrong, right? And I knew that maybe someday, if I was brave enough to be an entrepreneur again, I was gonna take all these golden nuggets in my pocket that I learned from this business and hopefully get to try again. And fortunately, it was just a few years later, I gave it another go and started Kendra Scott Jewelry.
And now, not only are you bringing wisdom to your own business, but to others at the University of Texas.
Yes.
Should I call you Professor Scott?
I mean, every time I hear it, I get giddy. When my students are like, Professor Scott, it's amazing. We launched 4 years ago the Kendra Scott Women's Entrepreneurial and Leadership Institute at the University of Texas. And for a college dropout, people are probably thinking, that's odd that she's going into academia. But I loved education. And in 2006, I got into a entrepreneurial master's program through MIT. And that was a 3-year program, and I was really taught the entrepreneurial mindset, taught from some of the best entrepreneurs in the world. And you look at my business, after that period, 2010 and about, that's when we had lightning in a bottle growth. I had all the tools I needed to connect the left brain to the right brain. And so I thought if I could give this to every person, but especially every woman, that would be amazing. And so at UT, we are open to all majors. We are women, but we obviously want the guys along. We just wanted women to be the majority in some of these classes and really get this entrepreneurial mindset to help them in whatever they do in their life, whether it's a career they're pursuing or a business that they want to build.
Is it practical application, or is Professor Scott like, today's essay I'd like for you to write?
Totally practical
What's the
application.
curriculum like?
You know, what's really fun is my class that I get to teach alongside another professor, Jan Ryan, who is absolutely tremendous. We have it here in our office, so they get to get a full case study on the Kendra Scott brand. They get to learn everything about this brand and get to learn from my leaders that I get to work beside every day, which is so phenomenal. And then the last part of the class, we put them in groups, diverse groups with mixed backgrounds and majors, to come up with a business solution of their own, find white space in the market. How are they going to be disruptive? And guess what their final is? Shark Tank pitch style to me and other entrepreneurs in Austin. So they pitch their amazing ideas on finals day. And honestly, every finals day, I cannot even believe what I am seeing in front of me. Since just inception, we have funded 66 female founders coming out of the Institute, which is so incredible.
That's sensational.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've talked a lot about the business side. I just have one more question, and then I'm going to switch up to being wife and mom and your advice there. One top takeaway, especially for a woman maybe who's later in life, right, and considering entrepreneurship but is afraid. What do you tell the woman who's hinging on, should I start this business? Should I start this endeavor?
You know, I think on the other side of fear, there's always been something great waiting for me. And I've had to push through that door, that scary door of fear, to get to the other side. And I think the way that I've always looked at it in my life, and I think it is losing my stepfather. He was 47 when he passed away. And I just remember his words to me that, honey, you have a very short time on this earth. And while you're here, I want you to make it count. And I want you to do what you love, and I want you to make a positive impact on the people that meet you and that are around you. And I think to any woman, any person out there, take those words of my stepfather, Rob, and think about this short time we have here. Push through those doors of fear and give it a go. Because what's the worst that can happen, right? You'll just be where you were before. I failed a business before this, really dramatically failed it. And I ended up having to push through those doors to say, can I do this again? Do I trust myself again to try to be an entrepreneur again? And I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't push through that fear.
You talked a lot about the hat box. You also started another business, a PR firm. Is that it? And what was the name? It has a name that sounded more appropriate in line with the Kendra Scott business today.
Glitter. Because Yes. I mean, it cracks me up every time I think about it. I even put glitter on my business cards. I mean, so I'd hand them to people. People would get like this mess on them. Like, what are you doing? But it was like, you know, glitter PR. Like, we're going to just bring that extra dazzle to your business, you know? I loved marketing, and I loved connecting, and I loved PR, and I loved building brands with people. And so after I had my hat box, I thought I could help people with their branding, help them with getting out into the community. And so I did that for a short stint, and then, you know, got another job, and then realized I was making jewelry for people because I had sold that in my hat store. And people were calling me not for the hats, but for the jewelry that they had bought. So on my side hustle, I was making jewelry, and then one day said, maybe I can quit my job, and maybe I can do this full time, and I can try again. And I made that big leap of faith, and when I was able to really dedicate 100% of my heart and soul into this business, that's when amazing things started to happen.
You were able to do something with purpose, and that brings me to, in your book, you say, quote, "My work is not my purpose, it powers my purpose."
Yes.
I thought that's so special.
Thank you. You know, my purpose really is to do good in this world, and to bring joy and shine a light in the dark places of this world. If I can do that through my work, through our design, through the products that we make, and be able to bring that joy to people, that is success, and that's my purpose in life. That's what I was put on this earth to do.
You were also put on this earth to be a mom.
Yes, my favorite job. I mean, everyone here knows, before chairwoman, before creative officer, all the titles, I don't even know what I have anymore, I'm mom first.
Mom, and a busy mom.
Yes.
So I think most women look at their day-to-day and they're like, I just need a few more hours, right? Who are a mother. Somehow they manage it all. But I think most successful mothers that I speak with say that they have some mom guilt. Do you have mom guilt?
Well, I think every mom probably has mom guilt, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a working mom, right? We always want to be better as parents. We always want to make sure we're doing the right things by our kids every day. And we are not perfect. There is no perfect parent. There is no perfect day. We need to give each other a little bit of grace and love. And the other thing we need to give each other is support. You know, we look at Instagram and all of social media, and it's put so much pressure on moms to be these perfect, happy families. And I love the ones that show the behind the scenes when the kids are screaming and crying and pulling, because we all know that's real. And so the more, you know, I have a lot of mom friends, and I'm always like, how are you? How can I help you? Or they know I've got something crazy going on. Kendra, I know you're traveling next week. What can I do to support you? We've created a village of love and support, and that's how we can get through these days. No one is Superwoman, okay? That is a fictional character. I write that in my book. That is not real. So we do the best we can every day. We make sure we tell our kiddos we love them with all of our hearts. And we also say, kids, I may not always do it 100% perfect, but I'm going to give it all I have, and I love you with everything I have.
Of all the things that I read in the book, I thought this was something that was so beautiful and that so many people need to hear. You write about average family, not a broken family.
Yes.
Explain that concept to me.
You know, my parents got divorced when I was young, and I ended up actually living with my father for many of those years, from 10 to 16. And I would hear people say, oh, she comes from a broken family. And I would just, like, those words just crushed me. It would just go down into my soul, because I felt like we weren't broken. You know, I had a mother that I love. I have an amazing father who is like super dad. I had my grandparents who lived across the street from my school so that I could walk there after school and be with them. I had my amazing aunt. I had the most wonderful family. It was a beautiful, perfect family for me. And just because we weren't a typical average family, which we don't even know what that is anymore, we sure weren't broken. And I wanted to put that in my book because I look at so many families today, and there's so many unique families out there, and we all look different. And I think we've got to stop putting this stigma on. If it's not mom, dad, and 2.2 kids, it's average or normal. We have all these beautiful different diversity in families, and I think it's something to celebrate.
Words from an eternal optimist.
Yes.
Spoken like an eternal
Yes.
optimist. That you are. I gleaned that from the book and from sitting here right now. Being such an optimist, what still inspires you? What still gives you hope?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, those students I get to work with every day, when I walk in to the University of Texas and I see these young, dynamic, amazing, brilliant, passionate young people, I have so much hope for the future of our world. We have the most incredible generation behind us that are going to lift this world in this next beautiful place we're going. I get to look in my children's eyes, and and they give me so much hope and optimism every day. And then I look at just the people around me, the people I get to work with, our customers that I meet in our store, and I see what kindness there is in the world. I say this all the time. I think we hear so much news and negativity every day about all of these terrible people, right, and things that are happening. But when you look at it, there's so many more stories of people that are loving and kind and gracious and giving. And I see that every day, and it gives me so much hope for this world.